Welcome to ArieVive Studios talk show and podcast hosted by Victory Lyric. Get ready to be inspired to be all you were called and created to be. Join us as we showcase nationwide artisans and their unique stories. This is your opportunity to explore creativity with diverse crafts, recipes, and tutorials with practical tips for unleashing your artistic side. Let's get ready for spiritual upliftment, healing stories, miracles, and divine goodness. Get ready for an amazing segment of ArieVive Studios talk show and
welcome to ArieVive Studios, and I am your host, Victory Lyric, and today I have the most amazing, brilliant, and joyful young lady with me. Her name is Ryane, and you guys are gonna just love this show and the amazing things that she's doing. So Ryane, tell us a little bit about yourself, and welcome.
Oh, thank you so much, Victory, and thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm super excited to be here.
Oh, we're happy that you're here as well.
So, tell you a little bit about myself. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so my name is Ryane of Ryane to the Rescue, and I have a YouTube channel where I teach people how to do all kinds of different things around the house. So like do maintenance on their cars, yard maintenance, house maintenance, all different kinds of things that people need to know how to do, especially single women.
Oh yeah. My son and I used your video to help us install a bidet on my toilet, so there was that.
Yay, perfect.
I was so inspired. I just had to do it, you know.
Well, now we all know you have a happy hiney, so that's good.
Right? There you go. So yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit, right, about how you got started with all these fun videos and all this instruction? It's so cool.
Well, I guess the story starts out sad, so we'll have to kind of back up to that.
Okay.
I was married for 30 years to a wonderful, delightful, fabulous man, and my husband literally took care of everything. And I mean it. He took care of everything regarding the cars and the house and the finances and the bills and the yard and everything. Like, I didn't even put gas in my car. I didn't know how to do the vehicle registration renewal. Like, I didn't know how to do anything because he literally managed everything, and he did such a good job of it. He was very servant-hearted, and that was his love language, is to do acts of service, and he was so good at it. So anyway, he took care of everything, and then he suddenly and tragically, unexpectedly died. And I was just like a deer in the headlights because, well, not only was I grieving my ever-loving guts out and had a broken heart and everything, but also I was just stunned because I didn't know how to manage anything. I mean, all of a sudden I was a single parent, I was a single homeowner, and I needed to manage cars and yard and house and finances and everything. I didn't know how to do any of those things. So through a series of events and a lot of trial and error and things like that, it came to be that I have a YouTube channel because not only did I need to learn how to do everything, but I knew that a lot of other widows and single women also needed to know how to do things in case they came across a tragedy in their life, or maybe they're just are single, never married, and own a home or whatever. But there's a lot of single women who don't know how to do a lot of these skills. So that's what I'm here to teach people.
Well, Ryane, I will tell you that I resonated when you said I did not even know anything about registering my vehicle. I mean, girl, when I went through my divorce, I was driving down the road, you know, hopping along, and I get pulled over. And this cop is like, "Ma'am, your registration, it's out." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? Registration?" And he's like, "Yeah, your vehicle registration, the little sticker." And I'm like, "What? Oh, let me look in my glove compartment." And I get it out all proud. "Here it is, sir." And he's like, "No, no, honey, no, you've got to actually turn that in and da-da-da-da-da." And I'm like, "Oh, I just thought I put it in the glove compartment, you know, because knew of it because my ex had been doing all of those things for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, I think I met you probably at my bakery, but originally, or through friends from my bakery, but I had the bakery, and I would, he would go on Mondays to Sam's or Costco and grab all these ingredients, and I would be like, oh, thank you for handling that. And when we got a divorce, I remember the first day that I had to go to Sam's, and I sat in that parking lot and I cried for like an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Till I got the guts to go in and do this humongous thing by myself, lifting 50-pound bags of flour and getting them organized in the car and all that. It can feel so overwhelming when you're going through grief to try to figure out something that is so simple, to other people who've done these things before, but it's so overwhelming to you. So I really appreciate that you're offering, this help to individuals like me back then,
Mm-hmm.
quite overwhelming.
After you bought those supplies and you carried those heavy objects and did all of those things that you had never done before, and you got them in your bakery and you started baking, did you feel really proud of yourself that you managed that task?
Yes. And I felt like I was, fierce and, capable. And so it was just each time I would do something new that I didn't know I could do, it took away some of that victim feeling, like this is happening to me, and instead I'm getting to make choices. It was nice.
I love your words, fierce and capable, because that's really a cycle that I've noticed in my own life, and it's what I want to encourage and empower other women to press through. Is at first when a pipe breaks, or you have to go to Costco and buy the supplies, or you have to put gas in your own car, or you have to air up your tires because they're flat, or a plethora of other things. At first when that happens, I'll speak for myself, but I think I speak for a lot of people, but you go into full on pity party mode. And you're just like, oh, woe is me. I don't know how to do this. I can't handle this. Why am I even having to do this anyway? My husband should do this for me, or my dad should do this for me, or my whatever. Why am I having to do these terrible, awful, hard, dirty man tasks anyway?
Yes.
And you can just get into a funk about it and just really feel pitiful and self-pity and stuff. But this is the thing. Even with tears in your eyes, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because even with tears in your eyes, and sometimes I've got a wrench in one hand and a Kleenex in the other because it's just so overwhelming and so scary and so everything daunting. And then when I tackle that task and I figure out how to do it and I accomplish it successfully, I feel, like you said, I feel fierce, and I feel capable, and I feel so proud of myself. And that's what I want to empower women to do, is to push through those tears and do that hard task anyway, even though they don't feel like they're equipped. They can be equipped. They can learn how to do this stuff.
Yes. And I agree with you. I think that, you were saying you're like having a pity party and this and that. And if we don't believe that we are empowered enough to take care of some of these things that feel so big and overwhelming, and like you were saying, like I sometimes find myself in that pity party. I've been single for a while, and it's like, God, you gave Adam a wife, and it was your intent that I should have somebody to help me. There's no one to help me, God. Oh, Lord. And I'm miserable, and, and I'm feeling so sorry for myself. And you can kind of get stuck in this disappointment mindset where you feel stuck and you don't even fix things around you. You don't take care of the things around you, because you're sitting in this place of like, I'm so disappointed that this is my life now. And I think when you're empowered to go, just do one thing, and something new to show yourself that, I'm worthy of this, of fixing this thing or handling this thing, and I'm capable. I think it puts you, pulls you up out of that pit, and that place of just discouragement and disappointment that we can kind of sink under. It pulls you back up and sets your feet on solid ground to where you can kind of build like a stair step with all the things that you're learning and be proud of yourself.
Exactly. I truly believe all of that. And And when we get out of that self-pity and we move forward and we're just like checking off our to-do list, like we're kicking butt and taking names, and then we feel so proud that we can move forward into the next task with a better frame of mind. And we can remind ourselves that I can do this, I can learn new stuff, and I can tackle these hard problems.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's like, like I was saying, kind of like stair steps, you grow on each accomplishment.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I think that's wonderful. Well, I was kind of wondering if you wanted to tell us a little bit about kind of how you came about the name of your show.
Okay. So many years ago, probably at least a decade ago, and this was when I was married, I did lots and lots of different odd jobs, and God has gifted me with lots of different skills. And so I would hire myself out to help friends and other people. Word of mouth would, spread around. But I would do family photography for people, and I would paint the interior of people's houses, and I would decorate or do interior design for people's houses. And then I made home decor and personalized gifts. So there were like so many different things that I could help people with. And I organized people's houses too. And so people would hire me to do all of these different tasks and things. And one of my friends, she hired me to do lots of different things for her. And one day she was just kind of looking at me and she said, "Ryane, you can do lots of different things. And I just feel like you should have a business and you should call yourself Ryane to the Rescue." And so it's funny because I didn't really do anything with that title or business or whatever at that time. I thought it was really cute and catchy and everything, but it just kind of like stuck there in the back of my mind. And then God brought that to the forefront when it was time to have a YouTube channel, and he said, that's going to be the name. But it's interesting because a friend actually is the one who coined the term.
I love it. And it's adorable. So you have a bit of a, what do you want to call her? A persona on your show?
Yes. So Rosie the Riveter is my persona or my icon that I want to follow in, because Rosie the Riveter was an icon of female empowerment. And of course that was back in don't quote me on this, the 50s or something like that. But anyway, that was when the men had to go off to war, and then they left all of these jobs that were normally man jobs. They were hard, they were dirty, they were hot, and stuff like that. And they left all of those jobs, and who needed to do them, or who was left to do them? The women did. And so the government made those posters of Rosie the Riveter saying, "We can do it." And it really empowered the women to step up to the task. And they may have thought, "Oh, I don't know how to do rivets, or I don't know how to build planes, or I don't know how to put in windshields. That's too hard, that's too dirty, that's too heavy," whatever. But with that empowerment, the women were like, "Yeah, man, I can do it. We can do it," Yeah. And so, that's my kind of role model in this whole YouTube channel.
I love it. Yeah, and you're adorable in it. So, can you kind of tell us a little bit about some of the obstacles that you've come across as you've stepped out into this journey?
Yeah, well, technology is not my strong point. Okay. And that sounds kind of funny coming from someone who has a YouTube channel, because it's a lot of technology. But this is what I would say. If God calls you to do something and you feel a strong impression to do something, then just step forward and start doing it. And it does not have to be perfect, because people with really great YouTube channels, they have just the right lighting, and they have just the right cameras, and they have just the right microphones, and they have a team of people who do their publicity and their tags and their social media, and to make sure their product gets promoted properly and everything. And so would it be ideal to have all of those things? Absolutely. Would it be more successful? Most likely. But the thing is, when God calls you to do something, like he called me to do a YouTube channel. He didn't say, okay, you have to get all of these steps in order before you start making a video. No, he just called me to do it. So I grabbed my cell phone. I didn't have any lighting. I didn't have any microphone. I just had a cell phone, and I just started, and I had a tripod, and I just started making videos. And I had no idea how to upload things on YouTube, and I didn't know how to edit videos. Okay. Fortunately, my daughter knew how to edit videos, so she was my editor for many months, probably the first 7 months of this journey, and then I finally learned how to do it. Okay. But as far as my personal struggles, everything having to do with technology, which was everything, was my struggle. And it was hard. It was really, really hard. And I believe that God will not only equip you with the skills that you need to do what he's called you to do, but also will provide you with a support team to help you get those things done. So out of the woodworks, God provided me a man who just presented himself to me. I didn't even know him, but he said, I'm a handyman. I can help you with most anything that you ever need to do, or questions that you have about anything, and I can help you know what tools you need, what supplies you need, and how to get the job done. And so so he's a great resource. I've called on him many times on how to do something. I've had a plumber reach out to me and say, I'll be your plumbing expert. I've had an electrician reach out to me saying, I'll be your electrical expert. I didn't even ask for these people to step up. They just came, because God will bring all the pieces together when he may present you with this jigsaw puzzle of all these random pieces, but he'll bring it all together, and it's beautiful.
I love it. I love it. Oh, yeah. That's so precious when people show up and the details come together, because you know his hand's in it, and you're not crazy just thinking this is something God wants me to do, but he's walking it with you, which is such a fun part of the journey. Absolutely. In this segment of Artisan Point of View, we're going to take a look at a couple episodes of Ryane to the Rescue.
Is the battery in your BMW key fob dead? Well, it's really easy to change. You flip this over, and then you push this button right here. And when you do, you slide out this key. Now, right where the key is, there is a very small little latch. So you're going to pull that out, and this whole back is going to come off, because that's where the battery is. Now, you find this little latch, and then you pry it off. Then with your screwdriver, gently pry out the battery. You'll need a CR2450. Then you slip the new one right in the place where the old one was. And then make sure you get this bottom notch in place first. And then you just need to squeeze this down really hard. Then you take that little hidden key again and slip it right back into the hole and clip it in place. Voila, you're ready to hit the road again. Hey friends, when it comes time to filling up your car with windshield washer fluid, be sure to get the legit stuff. Don't just use water, because it's not as effective, and don't use Windex because it can bubble up on your windshield. And if it's winter time, be sure to get the one that's labeled 0 degrees Fahrenheit. That way it doesn't freeze and break your tank and your tubes. So look for the cap that has the little windshield washers on it, and then pop that open, and then you just fill it up. We can do it.
Wonderful. So, guys, we are about to go into our favorite segment. This is our victory point of view. And Ryane is going to tell us her you would not believe story. So go ahead, Ryane. What do you have for us today?
Victory. You will not believe this miracle that God did for me.
Try me. Try me.
Okay, so as you know, I'm a widow. And along my grieving journey of being a widow, I had to come to this epiphany that I needed to allow God to be my husband. And that wasn't easy for me because I was like, God, I want a human man with flesh and skin. Like, I don't want you to be my husband. You're like invisible. Like, I want a real man. And so that was hard for me to really surrender to that idea. It sounds all sweet and romantic, but it's like, no, that's really actually quite
No,
hard.
it's not. Who's gonna
I
pick up
think.
those heavy things? I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
So anyway, I had this huge tearful epiphany that I needed to just really surrender to it. And so I did. I just was like, okay, God, I'm laying down all of my expectations and all of my priorities, and I am just going to surrender, and I'm just going to ask you to fill all of the gaps in my life that a husband would normally fill. I'm going to ask you to be my husband, and I want you to just lavish your husbandly love on me. You just be my husband, and I'm just going to submit to that. And so I came to that finally surrender of that concept. And shortly after that, he blew my mind with his husbandly love to me. And that's what I want to share with you. So I have wanted to go to Victoria Falls in Africa for decades. It's one of the world's largest waterfalls, and I really have wanted to go there really bad. Well, I happen to work for a company because I lead tours internationally. I happen to work for a company that leads tours to Victoria Falls. So I said to my boss, hey, I would like to lead that tour, so if you need somebody to lead that tour, then let me be your gal. And he said, no, that's not going to happen because I have somebody else who's on site and they always lead the tour. So I wouldn't ever need you to lead the tour. I mean, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but that's not ever going to happen. So I was disappointed, but I thought, okay, well, that's fine. I'll just go on the tour as a paying guest sometime and I'll still go to Victoria Falls. So it's all going to be good. Well, then completely out of the blue, knowing that conversation I already had with my boss, he texted me and he said, hey, would you like to lead the tour to Victoria Falls? And my heart was just pounding. He on a text, okay? My heart was just pounding. And so then he said, get back with me within the hour if you want to do it. And so I texted him back immediately. Of course, I knew I needed to pray about it, okay? Because I'm a Christian. I'm not going to do something out of God's will, all right? So I knew I needed to pray about it. But I texted him immediately just to make sure he knew that I saw it. And I said, I want to lead that tour more than I want to breathe air. But let me pray about it and I'll get back with you. So, of course, I prayed about it. I talked to my daughters. I looked at my schedule. And my daughters were like, that's fine. Go lead it. Have fun. And my schedule was clear. So then I was like, okay, God, this is between you and me. Like, are you leading me to do this? Are you opening the door for me to do this? Is this from you? Or is this a distraction and I shouldn't do this? And I literally felt in my heart him say to me, all good gifts are from me. And I was like, wow, God, okay, that's amazing. And then he brought to my mind a conversation that I had just had with a friend just literally a few days earlier. And my friend said, Ryane, my husband is being so sweet to me. And I said, really? That is wonderful. Tell me more. I want to know how your husband is being so sweet to you. And she said, well, he just sent me on an all expense paid trip out with my girlfriends. And he was just like, you just have fun and don't even worry about the budget. You just get to go and And I just, give you total freedom to do that. And I was like, oh, how sweet a trip for, from your husband, how precious. Well, God brought that to my mind because I had just had that conversation with her. And he brought that to my mind and he said, see, good, generous, kind, sweet, thoughtful husbands provide all expense paid trips for their wives. I was like, oh my gosh, God, you're blowing me away right now.
Oh my gosh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so then I have already been having this ongoing conversation with God for probably for 2 years already, where when he shows me a double of something or a double number, I just feel like he's confirming that he's going to give me a double portion. And so every time I see a double on the clock, I'm like, oh, thank you, God, you're giving me a double portion, that my double portion is coming. I just thank him in advance for that. And so then I was just like, okay, I know God is calling me to do this. I know God is calling me to do this. I just want to pray about it a little bit more. I just want to pray a little more. And so then I was like, well, let me see when my boss texted me, because I need to make sure that I'm, communicating with him within the hour. So I looked back at his text and it came to my phone at 11:11.
Of course it did. What is it about 11:11, right?
Yes. So I was like, God, oh my goodness, you're sending me to Victoria Falls. Oh, he's my husband. I'm his wife. And he's just like lavishing his love on me. It was amazing.
That is a wonderful you would not believe story. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you, Lord, for being such an amazing husband. I mean, my goodness, that's wonderful.
It was
well, sweet. Ryan, as we come to a close, and I wish you and I could chat forever because this is just a blast. But as we kind of come to a close, why don't you tell everyone, our our viewing audience, how they can find you and your channel?
Oh, okay. So my channel is called Ryane to the Rescue, and it's Ryane. So don't forget the E. Ryane to the Rescue. So just spell it all out, and you'll find it on YouTube. And I also have TikTok and Facebook and Instagram. So you can find Ryane to the Rescue on any of those.
Well, awesome. Okay, we will include that down in the description of our YouTube video. And we thank you so much, Ryan, for being here. It has just been a blast to have you. And we will include a couple of her video tutorials for you guys to kind of take a peek at. And thank you guys for being here. And we just love you and bless you. And we look forward to seeing you on our next episode.
Thank you, Victory. It's been wonderful. God bless you.
Thanks for tuning in to the ArieVive Studios talk show and podcast hosted by Victory Lyric. It's our goal to inspire you to be all you were called and created to be. Join us next week as we showcase nationwide artisans and their unique stories. It's your opportunity to explore creativity with diverse crafts, recipes, and tutorials with practical tips for unleashing your artistic side. So until next week, God bless from your friends at the ArieVive Studios talk show and podcast and your host, Victory Lyric.